right, so we are live. So first, I do want to say thank you. I do appreciate you, giving me the time of your day to take this time out to, kind of have a conversation with me. Like I told you earlier, I do have a YouTube channel, and for those subscribers who may not know who you are, could you just kind of give like a little background, who you are, how long you've been training, and kind of start us off there.
I'm a nobody. I'm a 45-year-old construction worker in the middle of Ohio.
Ohio.
Wow. And I love jiu-jitsu. I started doing jiu-jitsu in 1996.
Been around for a while.
Been around for a while, yeah. A while, yeah. I walked into a Blockbuster video, and I rented UFC 1, and my life literally changed after watching Royce Gracie fight. Literally one person, the biggest influence in my life is Royce Gracie. He changed my life all the way around. I was in the middle of just doing absolutely nothing with my life, just drinking, fucking around, fucking up. I was already known as a bad fuck up then. And that basically turned everything around because no one ever expected anything out of me. No, I was always picked to never make anything out of my life. People didn't even think I'd be married right now. Most people thought I'd be dead right now.
Wow.
At 45 years old, I was living a pretty bad life. And who knew watching people beat the shit out of each other would turn me to something positive,
Right.
So I rented UFC 1. Never had any fighting experience in my life. 3 weeks later, I walked into a cage in Iowa and had my first MMA fight.
Wait, time out. You said 3 weeks after renting the tape, you had your first MMA fight.
Drove to Iowa and fought in a cage fight.
So no training. You just
training, just from watching.
Just from watching.
Just from watching. And I had a couple of my buddies who they didn't know how to fight either. We were just going over the moves.
Right.
And guess what happened? I got armbarred in like 40 seconds.
I was getting ready. I thought you was gonna say like, yeah, armbarred him or triangle.
No. Only in the movies that happens where you, in the movies where there's a happy ending. Not me. No, I got
right. Hey, well, that's a lot of courage or whatever you want to call it. After you said 3 weeks of just watching. You haven't even felt a real anything. You just
nothing. And but that loss got me turned on. Okay, like now I got to find out what this really is. Now I'm gonna go find instructors. And in 1996, there were 2 Gracie academies in all of America. There was the one in California in Torrance, and there was one in Cleveland, Ohio. And I would drive an hour and a half every day to Palmertown. And I would train. Hoist had an affiliate out there. I mean, years later, more gyms came out, but that's where I was driving all the time to go train.
Wow.
And I fell in love ever since then. I mean, honest to God, I didn't really take it. I mean, I would train, I would fight, I'd compete all the time.
Right.
But once I had my first child, is when I really took the seriousness of my training up a notch. Once I had my first child, I started caring about my health. I started caring about my training, my injuries, weight training, everything. Once I had a child, it changed everything for me.
Wow. Well, yeah, that'll change. I don't have any kids personally, but I can imagine, like, how that.
You do. And honest to God, I wish I was in your position now. Before I had my children, I would have been better prepared, physically, martial art wise, everything for my children. I felt I could have been even more prepared before I had children. So you're in a good spot before you have these kids.
You're right. I'm
doing what you're doing.
I'm 5 or 6 years in, but I plan to make this, a lifelong journey or whatever.
Yeah,
but
I love hearing that.
Yeah, definitely. But the next thing, what I kind of wanted to get into was, I was listening to a podcast. I want to say maybe 2 weeks ago, and the topic of egos came up. The saying, "Leave your ego and your shoes at the door" or whatever. And I thought about it to myself, like, if I'm being like 100% honest, like, I feel like you can't not have any type of ego. That's kind of like a saying, like you say it. Like, I get it, your first day, you don't want to come in there thinking that, you're going to do anything to anybody because it's your first day. But as you go, your blue belt, purple belt, there's got to be, in my opinion, there's got to be a little bit of an ego. Do you agree or disagree with that? Or are you literally, I don't care if I get tapped by a purple belt who just got promoted yesterday, that's fine, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Well, here's the thing. There's 2 egos.
Okay.
Yes, you leave your old ego at the door. And that old ego is the one that, it's the untrained ego. Now you got to bring a new ego with you. It's called a healthy competitive ego.
Okay, I like
a whole new ego you got to do. I tell people all the time, people are like, oh, I just leave my ego at the door. I'm like, no.
Okay.
Because you're also training to get better.
Mm-hmm.
When someone taps you, naturally, you want to get them back. I don't care who they are. When people say, I don't mind getting tapped, let me break it down to you. Everybody hates getting tapped. Even these high-level people who've been training these years, when I get tapped by a white belt, I'm like, did he really just, I've been doing this since 1996. Did he just tap me some crazy funky leg lock?
Right.
So that's bullshit. A healthy ego I've learned to bring. So I bring this healthy ego and I'm like, look what he just caught me in. Now I'm gonna dwell on it because that's how I am. I dwell on shit. I'm like, what's that movie caught me in? I might Google videos. I might ask it. Okay. And then the next time I'm like, hey, let's roll.
Right.
And I'm gonna try and not let him do that. That's called building a healthy competitive ego.
A healthy. Okay, so you make a distinction between an ego and a
healthy ego.
Okay. All right. So I have a healthy ego too, because like I said, there's no way. Like I lose sleep. Like you said,
you're supposed to lose sleep when someone beats you.
Right.
That means there's an animal inside you that's like, that's not, no, I can't be getting caught in that. It's natural. We don't want to lose. And then anyone who says it's okay, that they're okay with losing, that's bullshit. Okay? Yeah. Nobody wants to lose. Now, I'm 45 years old. I still think I can hang with these young cats. I can't. They beat the shit out of me. I guarantee you'd beat the shit. I can't. But I'm still going to do whatever it takes. If you catch me with something, I'm like, man, let me try and roll with it again. Let me see if I can at least not get caught in it again.
Right.
Healthy ego. But that's how we both get better.
Mm-hmm.
If I keep catching you and you're saying the same inside heel hook,
right,
10 times in a row, and I do it for a month straight, guess what? I'm not learning anything, and you're not doing anything to stop me from doing the move.
Right.
So we're both not learning.
Exactly.
We're both wasting our time, you know? But if you build a healthy ego, you're like, man, okay, I might not be able to, at least, instead of him tapping me in the first 30 seconds, let him tap me with 30 seconds left in the clock.
Right.
I'm building onto something. I'm learning something. I'm learning how to defend. You know, that healthy ego, I believe that's with everything in life, not just in jiu-jitsu. You could do that with work. You could do it with weight training. You could do that with so many other stuff in your life. It's that healthy, competitive ego. You know, people have that old ego where like, I ain't rolling that dude again. He rolls too rough.
Yeah.
That's a bitch move. You know, or someone at work, I'm not going to go for that position because it's too hard to get. No, that's a bitch move. That's a bitch move. It's just everything in life we have to try for. We have to compete for it. You know, you got to be competitive, but you got to be competitive in a healthy way.
Healthy way, exactly. Yeah.
So I hope that answers it.
Yeah, that definitely. I never actually made a distinction between an ego and a healthy ego, but I like the way you worded it. That makes sense.
Just that whole leave that ego at your door. I don't
leave the old ego at the door. The old ego, but the healthy ego, they got it.
You can use that as an excuse too. He caught me in that. Oh, maybe he caught you because he's working harder than you, or maybe he's getting better than you. Maybe there's a ton of things. Don't just be like, I left my ego at the door and he caught me. No, you got caught. You got caught.
Like I said, I lose sleep. I don't compete that much, but I have competed a little, quite a bit, in my opinion, maybe 5 or 6 times or something like that. But like, I'll watch my videos back, and it's like, why did I I'm never getting caught in that again. Or I rolled to the right when I should have, rolled to the left or something like that. I think of that like so much. Like this.
And you're supposed to think like that. Anytime you lose, you know what? No one's ever supposed to lose. Be like, oh, that's cool. I'm gonna go.
I just tried. Oh well, whatever. Yeah, that's not.
Little shit. I'll do like a little mistake in practice, and I'll be later. I'm like, hold on, I'll talk to PG. I'm like,
oh, yo,
what? My kid's like, who are you talking to? I'm like, don't worry about what I'm talking about. Just crazy shit like that. It's like, but that's a good sign though. If you're doing that, that means that you're competing with yourself. It's a healthy ego. You know what I mean?
Right.
So now, every once in a while, you will get those assholes in the gym that try and hurt you.
Right.
But again, your healthy ego can play again in that.
Mm-hmm.
Not that you're going to hurt him, but next time you're going to play to dominate him.
So that he won't be able to even give him the ability to hurt you.
One of the worst things I hear. Is when someone says, I don't want to roll with that guy, he rolls too hard, he hurts people. That when I hear that, it drives me absolutely nuts. I can roll with anybody. I'll roll with Paul Harps. I guarantee you he won't hurt me. Because before he even gets me that deep heel hook, I'm already tapping. I'll grab his, you know what I'm saying? It's just if I'm rolling a dangerous person, I just gotta be on my toes.
Yeah, literally.
I gotta look over my shoulder, I'm like, this motherfucker's trying to hurt people. I know he's a bad person, But I still want to have that because guess what? In a real life scenario,
you can't say, hold on a minute, wait.
Someone's gonna try and fuck you up, right?
Exactly.
So guess what? I want to go with those people. I want to go with those people that go extra hard. The person that nobody wants to roll with, that's the dude I want to roll with. Because he's gonna get me more prepared than that guy that we're gonna do our little flow roll, whatever.
You go here, I go here, you grab this.
Exactly. I want to go with that guy who goes. Now I gotta be like, hey, he can bend a finger, he can scratch, but now he might. If this motherfucker is crazy, and that's the guy I want to roll with.
Yeah.
And then my health ego is like, now I want to dominate his ass.
Makes sense.
Shit, right?
It's a lot of people that think very differently than that, but I hear what you're saying. I definitely agree with it. I don't. Well, at my gym, I'm trying to think. We don't have any because my instructor, he'll cut that off right from the beat. Like,
well, it's usually somebody traveling into a gym stop, and that's or if you cross train, if you go to an open mat, that's usually where those usually don't happen homegrown.
That is true. Yeah, true. That is true. And you're the new guy, and everybody want to test your rank, or whatever, and you want to roll with you next, and whatever. That's definitely true.
Now imagine me. I'm a black belt, and I walk into gyms unannounced because I travel a lot for work. I do construction, so the target on my back is like.
Yeah, like who's this? Who's the new black? Who's this?
And they're like, oh, you're the dude from the internet. Then it's like
this. The dude from the internet.
Those motherfuckers want to put me on the little notch on their bed. I tap Mr. Jiu-Jitsu out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm on high alert wherever I go.
Right.
But I enjoy that. I wanted people to come after me. I want people to try and hurt me.
Now, did you have this same mentality from blue all the way up, or did it kind of change from blue to purple and then or was it always like that?
I was a white belt for almost 11 years. I know.
Wow.
Some serious sandbagging going on. So but here's the thing is every time, don't forget, my first MMA match was in 3 weeks as a white belt.
As you watched the fight, after you watched.
And I fought MMA about a dozen times more after that. I also fought in pancration matches in Europe.
Right.
And I fought in no holds. I've done a bunch of fighting off the record as a white belt, MMA stuff, all over. I've done it. There's some crazy match you can find me on YouTube. These were all at white belts. And so I wasn't really under everyone. I also did a lot of jiu-jitsu tournaments back then, but I always competed at the advanced level. I've never done a beginner tournament in jiu-jitsu. I've never even done an intermediate in jiu-jitsu. I've always gone and done the advanced in jiu-jitsu.
Oh, wow. So when you, like you said, after your first MMA fight and you've been training, let's say a year later, if you came across a competition, you would compete at the.
So my first jiu-jitsu tournament was in 1998. I fought in the Gracie Nationals in Columbus, Ohio. Back then, the Gracie Nationals was the equivalent to what the ADCC is now.
Okay, that was gay.
If you do a little searching after we get off here, go on YouTube, and back in the day, the who's who would come to Columbus, Ohio, and compete in this event. Paige DePano would compete in it. Munson would compete in it. Dustin Denz would compete in it. Rafael Lovato's first match was there. Ribeiro's match was in there. And so I went against this Brazilian, this black belt. I remember his name, and he annihilated me. And I was a white belt. He was a black belt.
Right.
I picked to do that, but I've always done that. I've always competed at the highest level. Now, I don't suggest people to do that.
Oh yeah, no, that's.
But it's just something in my head where I'm like, I want to see how it is to go against the best people in the world, and I found out I got destroyed.
Yeah. And then
it's just something. It's just a mentality. It's a mentality that I don't think everyone should. It's just a mentality I have.
Right.
Some people have it, some people don't. But I even tell people right now. People are like, I want to do an MMA fight. I'm like, unless you've done at least 10 jiu-jitsu matches, maybe 5 kickboxing smokers, don't do an MMA fight. They're like, well, you went right in there. I go, and look what happened to me. Let me be the example of what not to do. That's why I try to use myself as an example of what not to do.
Right. I think that's really good advice, because I'm assuming you're saying you need at least 10 jiu-jitsu matches first, just to get the experience, like training time on the mat, and then to get the nerves, and because definitely that's not. I guess I would call it an issue with me when I'm competing. My nerves are extra over the top, and it's I try to take deep breaths, and
you know what, you'll always have that. You'll always have that.
Yeah,
those nerves. They look like they don't exist to other people as you compete longer. People are like, man, aren't you nervous? You're like, I am. I just don't show it anymore. You'll be nervous. The moment you're not nervous, stop competing. You're gonna get hurt. You should always be like,
this is serious. This is
serious. This guy could fuck me up. He's looking to hurt me. That's how you should always look at. I always look at every competition. Yes, it's sport, but I'm always like, this dude's trying to hurt me. You should always be. But the more you compete, your expression doesn't show it anymore. I'll go to tournaments for dude, are you gonna do anything before? Are you gonna do anything? I don't even warm up before. Like, I don't compete that much anymore. It's just from competing so many years, you know, being a competitive mindset. I'm still nervous as shit. Inside, I'm shaking.
But you can hide it.
I'm ready to puke. You know what I mean? It's just my body has just, and you just got to compete. That's one of those things where I tell people, like, what can I do? I'm like, you just got to compete.
Keep doing it.
You just got to put yourself out there. If there's a tournament, if you have a local tournament, go do it. Is there a tournament? Go do it. The more tournaments you could do, and then eventually it gets like breathing, man.
Yeah. It's like I definitely understand, because like I can kind of take it back to, like, I played football and basketball. You know, game 1 of the season was like a bunch of nerves. You got a bunch of people watching, whatever. By the time game 3, 4, 5, 6 comes in the season, because you're playing every week. But me, like, I would compete in January and then again February of the next year, and it's like it's so much time in between, and it's like it's a whole new experience, like all over it. So I'm nervous, like it's my first competition again. So that's definitely I think that's very good advice to give somebody to compete more and more often, and that way you can kind of get.
And another thing, try to compete in other arts if you can. So if you can do a wrestling tournament, jump into a wrestling tournament. There's so many. How old are you?
31. I'm lying. 31.
Jump into a wrestling tournament. Find one of those over 30 wrestling tournaments to jump into it.
Do you need like you just like
a freestyle, folk style, Greco, anything? And jump into a judo tournament. Put your white belt on and jump into a judo tournament. Do stuff like that. Do other grappling. If you enter other grappling, I've done a judo tournament. I've done wrestling tournaments. I don't know shit out of those things, but I've done a bunch of them. I've done so many different wrestling tournaments. It just got my wrestling. I just jump into other grappling arts too, and you'll see how it translates. And so, like open mats, like do you try to do a lot of open mats?
I do, but I've been going to maybe 2 or 3 on a not regular basis, but like I'm not a new face in there. I'm not new when I show up. So if I go once a month or twice in a single month, they kind of, you know, they know who I am.
Start hitting some wrestling clubs up. Start hitting wrestling, and it'll be a whole different intensity with the wrestling. Add it all. Even if you don't like the wrestling, even if you like to pull guard, I tell people I love pulling guard.
Right.
I still tell people work on your wrestling. Because just the intensity of wrestling that scrambles when you're on the ground, it will help you.
Oh yeah.
Just that whole intensity. I tell people all the time. I'm like, mix it up. They're like, I'm like, jiu-jitsu is good, but you got to throw some judo in there. You know, even if you don't like standing up, just that training alone will help you mentally. You know, I like a lot of people tell me all the time, like, you know, my coach wants you to really, you know, push the takedowns, but I'm good at sweeping people. And I don't want to go over someone's coach. I'm like, if you're good at sweeping people, pull guard and sweep them. But use the other stuff for backups. For once you hurt your back, you got to you need to get 2 points real quick. It's overtime. You got to get the takedown. You know, stuff like that. If you're gonna get penalized for pulling guard, I don't care how good your guard pulling is. You still get a minus penalty point for pulling guard. So you still got to know that stuff. So
definitely. So you kind of mentioned in there that, like I said, I'm 31. You're 44.
45. I'm gonna be 46 in November. I'm an old man.
45. As you know, when you get older, you know, joints and body things, they don't recover like how they used to. I'm starting to get right in that kind of phase. Like I said, I'm 31 now. And when I first started, I was 25 or 6 or something like that. So I could train, 2 days in a row, 3 days in a row, whatever. But now it's like I'm, starting to feel things. So do you do anything specific to like for recovery? Because was it actually a couple days ago on Friday, I went to my first like chiropractor adjustment. That was like, I'm just trying something new. I do the ice and, massage. Like I said, I tried the chiropractor for the first time. Do you do anything specific to kind of get your body back into shape, like on your off days as far as recovery?
Now you're gonna hear something. I'm gonna tell you something crazy. You know those heaters? You know the warmer, the things that warm the seat in your car?
Right.
I have to turn that on every time before I go to practice or before I go lift or before I even walk out of my car.
Wow.
My back is I just need heat on my back before I do any kind of activity. I don't do any kind of stretching, but the heat warmer in my car is my doctor. It is my chiropractor. It's just, my wife's like, it is 90 degrees out. I go, I won't be able to walk with the kids down at the fair if I don't have the heat on.
Right.
My body is on fire, but I need to warm. My body is destroyed from training, and I haven't taken good care of it. Like right now, I have a fractured wrist.
Wow.
And I went to the doctor. He was like, I already had screws in here, and he's like, look, you have to set it. I go, I can't. I'm gonna miss training. He goes, if you don't set it, it's gonna be.
Set it. What do you mean by that?
So there's if I don't, you can't see in here. So there's a line right here. I have 2 screws in here. I broke this 10 years ago.
Oh, okay.
So I have a little screw that goes in here, and you have 2 little bones here. Well, this little one fractured right in here again.
Okay.
So he wants to set it with a cast that just like a hand cast.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. So at that point, you get trained.
The doctor knows me. He's my friend. He's like,
right.
I go, that's not going to happen. He's like, well, why'd you even come? I go, I want to know why. It felt like my hand was getting chopped off. I couldn't sleep for like the last couple days. So they X-ray. There's a little hairline fracture. So, but I have all these little fractures all over my body that I've been taken care of.
Okay.
So all these years, all these injuries, even this one is still killing me. But about 5 years ago, I changed my whole diet around, and I felt like that helped me at my age a lot. I cut all the sugar out of my diet. I cut out bread. I cut out like processed meats. I cut out rice. I cut out potatoes. Anything with sugar. Anything with high 2 carbs. I cut out, and I feel that has changed my whole body around the last couple of years. It's not a keto. A lot of people think it's a keto diet. It's not. I don't do a keto diet.
Well, that's all meat. Is that keto? Is that the all meat or mostly meat or no meat?
No. Keto is like fish. It's basically low carb. It's low carbs, high protein foods like that. But I've never been in ketosis. I don't count carbs. When I get hungry, I eat as much as I want. But I also do intermittent fasting too. Okay. So usually I eat every day from 12 to 7. That's my window. I eat every day, and I've been doing that for 5 years. And honest to God, it's made my injuries. I know I'm still injured, but they don't hurt the way they used to. I'm 45. I feel better now than when I was 35.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I can tell with me, it's like diet. If I'm really, I can kind of sort of afford to not be so in tune with my diet. I can kind of eat good for 3 days and then eat like, fast food for 2.
No,
and then
a lot of it's genetics too. A lot of it's genetic. I think a lot of it's in our genetics. Like this diet that I'm doing, if you did it, it might not work.
Right.
Our bodies are different. If someone else did it, that might work different. It's just everyone. I believe everyone's diet is different. Like I don't push my diet. I just tell people, they're like, well, how are you so active at 45? How are you able to do all stuff with those injuries? It's because honestly, it's because of the diet I'm on right now.
Yeah.
I feel great. But a couple of my friends have tried this diet. It hasn't worked for them. Like I have a good friend of mine. He's on the vegan diet, and he feels great about it. So I can't knock him for it. He feels great about it. I'm on this diet, and I feel great. So I think that now this diet, just like jiu-jitsu, took some trial and error for me to get there. It took 5 years, and now I feel like I perfected it. So I think any diet you do, it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time. Like, see what you eat and see how you feel the next day. See if you still have that inflammation. See if you still hurt. But that warmer in the car, that shit warmer.
Yeah, that's the key.
That's the shit right there. I'm telling you right now. It's just.
Yeah, it's like I said, my diet and like weight training. I haven't been. I'm I don't know what you call it, but I'm like an intermittent weight trainer. Like I'll weight train for like 6 months and then be off for 3 months. 2 weeks and then off for a week. It's just I'm not consistent at all. But I do reckon I've realized, first of all, when I work out, I just have to take in more carbs, like because I can't go to the gym hungry. Like that's my body. I have like that can't lose or can't gain weight body type or whatever.
That's like genetics. We're all built different.
Exactly, it's genetics. So I can't go to the gym hungry. So and I can't once I get home from the gym, I can't not eat. I need to have my protein shakes, my fruits, my vegetables, my starches. I need an entire meal, and I can definitely feel when I mix a good diet with my weight training on a regular basis. When I go in to train, it's like, you're in a certain position and you have to hold something for a long time. Then you kind of start feeling that shaking, like, I got to let it go. But if I'm working out, you can hold on to it for another 10, 15 seconds and feel comfortable with it. So that's definitely that and stretching. But like stretching, again, that's another thing. I'll stretch for 2 weeks, don't stretch for 3 months, come back for 10 days. So I'm just like off and on. But
I haven't stretched in like 10 years.
Like even like for warm-ups or like when you just go in and just.
I go in and I'm like, my time is so limited. As soon as I walk in, I'm like, let's go. Let's get on the mat and roll. And that's probably why I'm injured half the time.
I'm about to say that might have.
That's probably why in the morning it takes me about 20 minutes to get out of bed. For me, just to stand up and walk straight takes about maybe 2 hours.
Oh man.
If how people say do jiu-jitsu to be healthy, don't ever use me as the example. Use someone like you, skinny, slender. Don't use my old ass, because you'd be like, if that's how I'm gonna end up, I'm gonna do Krav Maga or CrossFit, because I don't want to look like that bald dude. He looks. If you see him in the morning, you'd be like,
you get up.
He's about to roll.
It's like
he's about to go on the mat and roll right now. Look, he looks like Looks like I look like I'm dying.
Right.
I look like I'm dying in the morning.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's like if you go in and don't stretch and you're not warm, other than the car seat.
That's why I say don't do what I do sometimes.
Yeah, that's how
I'm a little fucked up right here.
Another thing that I want to kind of ask you and talk to you about was I noticed that a lot of your posts are kind of self-defense oriented and taking training serious. And for those people who don't train, people who make excuses, they need to get in and train. That's kind of
they're aimed at parents that don't train.
The parents.
If you're single, do your thing, baby. Okay. If you're single, do your thing. But the moment you have a child and you're responsible for another life,
that's when it's more of an obligation.
You got a problem.
Right.
The moment you had the whole idea of having a child, then we got a problem. Then I'm gonna be up in your face. If you're single, go do your thing. Go make your money. Go get your future set for when those children come.
Right.
When you want to make that life with that next person, whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You're single, do your thing. But the moment you have a child, then I'm coming after you.
So
my posts are coming after you too.
Yeah, right. I see him. So it's like not self-defense, but family defense. That's kind of.
See. A lot of people think that I want you to do jiu-jitsu. I think jiu-jitsu is a great sport because it keeps you mentally, cardio, strength. It's got everything in it. Right. But I want you to be physically fit if you have a child. Because guess what? Okay. You could have a black belt in jiu-jitsu, but if your house catches on fire in the middle of the night and you got to run up 2 flights of stairs to pick up 2 kids and run them out, your black belt's not going to help you. Your cardio and your strength training is going to help you. Being in shape is going to help you. If you're at the beach with your child, your child goes to the bottom of the pool, you better know how to swim and have the strength to dive under and bring them up.
Right. Yeah.
Your bending's not going to help you then either. That's going to be cardio. So I think once you have a child, you need to be physically fit. I'm not saying you need to be
like an
UFC fighter. You need to win the CrossFit Games. You need to have enough cardio where you can sprint 20 feet. You can't walk up the steps and be going.
Right.
And then also make statements like, anyone touches my baby, I'll fuck him up. Now, you can't even breathe going up.
You can't even go up this.
You're going to fuck up.
So you can't even sprint.
And then people get mad at my posts. They're like, well, everyone don't got time to jiu-jitsu. I didn't say do jiu-jitsu. I said be physically fit. Take 20 minutes out of the day and do some push-ups in your living room. Put YouTube on and do one of those
there's amazing videos out there.
So much free shit. No one says you have to go do jiu-jitsu. You can go shadow box. Go get your child and do some jiu-jitsu. Do some self-defense. Get a heavy bag. Put the pillows on the ground and punch them. There's something anybody can do. The whole I don't have time, I don't have money, that's
it's just excuses. You're not big on excuses, are you?
I don't accept them. I don't accept it.
So yeah, I'm if I'm being 100% honest.
Can you hear me?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah. There was a call coming in. I told you I'm bad with technology, and I went to swipe it away.
And he ended the call.
And I fucked it all up. My bad. I'm sorry.
Is this I'm just asking. Is this your cell phone or laptop?
This is my cell phone.
Oh, okay. So what are we talking about? I was saying as far as excuses, I think more along the lines of you when I first started. It wasn't that extreme. I didn't go do MMA after 3 weeks. But I remember in the early 95, 96, and you mentioned Blockbuster. So I definitely remember Blockbuster. But it was like a kind of mom and pop video rental store or whatever.
Yeah.
And VHS, bootleg type, like it wasn't even DVDs back then. It was VHS. It was like literally a tape you put in the VCR.
Yeah, there was another store besides Blockbuster. I forgot what it was called.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't like a chain store. It was just like literally, it's only one of them down the street from me. It wasn't like a.
Okay.
And I used to watch it, in 94, 5. Obviously, it had been out for a couple years or whatever at that point. Same thing. I saw Gracie, this little guy. I'm like, who is this beating? Because I'm looking at, as a kid, I'm looking at Ken Shamrock with the muscles and all of that. And I'm like, he's supposed to win. Then he didn't. Fast forward to me being 20-ish, 2021, I started watching the UFC, like the new age UFC and everything like that. And then from there, I turned 25. Long story short, I was working from home. So I started to feel like kind of not lazy, but like I'm not doing anything active. It's like I was going to the gym, but it just wasn't enough. I'm like, I want to do some more activity. So I went into the my academy and I signed up the first day. And it's been so many people who have come and gone, tried it for a day, don't ever see them again, coming for 2 weeks, don't ever see them again. And obviously those are the white belts. So what kind of advice would you give for those people who aren't like, you know, kind of how we were? We kind of were just kind of hooked from the beginning. Like, what kind of advice would you give them who, I guess, make excuses, kind of try it out, but don't really take it serious? Like, what kind of advice would you give to those type of people?
There's actually no advice you can give those kind of people. I'm being honest. I'm being honest. There's a post I made, and someone added a picture of me rolling. It was like 3 years ago.
Right.
There's a picture I'm rolling with. I don't know. You know who Tom DeBlas is?
Yeah.
So I'm rolling at with Tom. It's actually Tom DeBlas' first ever seminar. It was in Cortland, Ohio. Me and him are rolling, and someone took a picture. It's a saying I posted when I first started the Mr. Jiu-Jitsu page, and it says that Jiu-Jitsu is for everybody.
Right. You said it is?
Jiu-Jitsu is for everybody. But after a few years, it's only for a few people. Then after a few years, it's only for a handful of people. It's something in us. So there's some people, I believe I was born to do jiu-jitsu. Doesn't matter when I found it in my life. Right. I was born to jiu-jitsu. Some people were born to be millionaires. Some people were born to be the UFC world champion. Some people were born to be the next boxing champion. Some people were born to be a great basketball player. LeBron James was born to be a great basketball player. No matter when they found that art, it's just some people, it's bred in us.
It's in them, yeah.
It's bred in us. And sometimes our surroundings also help us too. If you come from a place of struggle, you're going to excel. If you come from a pain, suffering, you're going to excel. If you've had it easy all your life, there's a good chance you're not going to make it.
Yeah, you don't have that.
And if you're working, and I tell people, you have to make struggle. If everything's too easy for you, make struggle.
Yeah,
you got to create struggle, which is why I think a lot of people, even a lot of rich people, love jiu-jitsu because they don't get that struggle on a normal basis.
Everything is easy.
They're like, I'm about to roll with some guy who makes minimum wage and is going to beat my ass.
Right, exactly.
Back to reality. That's why a lot of rich people, rock stars, famous people, like doing jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
They're like,
because they're always.
I can't get a maid to come help me get out of this armbar. I can't get my butler. I can't get my manservant. It's just, see what I mean? That's why I like jiu-jitsu. But there's something in us where it's just like it's in our genetics. Some people just haven't pulled it out of their genetics. Some people don't know. There's a guy right now sitting on his couch, hasn't worked out a day in his life, as a slob, who one day might find jiu-jitsu, and he'll do it for the rest of his life because it's in his genetic code.
Yeah.
It's just this animal in us. It's just how we tap into it. Sometimes you need good instructors. Sometimes you need good people around you. Sometimes you need me yelling at you through a Facebook post, trying to pull that demon out of you. Right. I know some people have it. I know out of the 100 people I'm talking shit to, one person will be like, oh, now this old bald dude's onto something. He's right. Yeah. Maybe I should suck it up. Maybe I should go back to work. Maybe I should just shut my mouth and try that. Maybe I'm not in that much pain. Maybe because this arm shirt I can work. So I'm there for that one person out of 1,000 that's like, come on, I know we can do this. I'm gonna be a little rough with you. Right. You're gonna thank me in the long run.
Yeah, sometimes, and I definitely, like my instructor. He's definitely that type. He's tough on you, but it's only because he wants to like bring out the best in you. Like, I didn't really see that in the beginning. I thought I didn't really mind it because like I come from football and, you know, coaches yelling at you and all of that stuff. So it's like, you know, whatever. But I'm like, I thought I was going to come in and just have fun and do jiu-jitsu. But then it's like he was kind of giving me some individual attention, saying things. But I look back on it now, it's like, you know, he's just trying to bring the best out of every individual that he is. So some people need that. Some people need you and you're supposed to.
And don't forget, with me, don't forget, I don't own a gym. I don't teach jiu-jitsu.
Right.
I don't have any DVDs. I don't have seminars. And I get asked all the time to do seminars, to teach, to make it. I turn everything down. I do this because I love it.
No seminars?
No, people. If I tell you how many messages I get all the time to do seminars, people call me up for privates. Now, if I'm traveling to the gym and they want me to teach that day, I'll do it. I'll do a seminar maybe like for charity, but it's just something I'm just not big into teaching.
Really?
Just, like if I go to a gym, I want to roll. I'm like,
right. Like, I'm not here to teach.
But I'll explain to you how I roll if you're doing something wrong. You know what I mean? I just want to get a sweaty. You know what I mean? It's just my time is for my children. It's for my training. I got so much other stuff going on in my life. It's just my time is limited. You know, it's just. How
often like on a weekly basis do you train?
I try to train every day, and it's all different times. Sometimes I'll train 5 a.m. Sometimes I'll train at midnight. Sometimes I'll drive 20 minutes to get 2 rolls in and go back to work. It's whenever I can get it in. And I got a black book. when I was single, I used to have a nice black book
full
of girls' names. Now I got a black book full of dudes' names that want to train last minute.
Oh man, you
so my black book has changed. Now I got this back. I can go to any city right now, and I'm like, hey, let's get a couple rolls in for my meeting. Let's come to the hotel and roll. I'll roll anywhere. I want to get my rolls in and train.
Wow. So, yeah, that's.
I try to do something. I try to physically sweat every day. If I can't roll, I'm gonna go lift. If I can't lift, I'll go play tennis. I'll go play basketball with my kids outside. I'll go shoot hoops. I'll go do something. I can do something every day where I have to put my body under stress and sweat.
So,
but I prefer to roll every day if I can. If I can roll every day, I'll do it.
Right. So I'm assuming like, I'll guess with the weight training, is that like, obviously your weight training and jiu-jitsu training overlap some days, right?
Yeah. I try to weight train at least 4 days a week.
Okay. So weight.
And I'm not doing anything heavy. I'm just doing it to maintain so I don't get hurt.
Yeah, that's
like my heavy days. I'm 45. Those heavy days long behind me. Yeah. I'll do some benching. I'll do some back. I'll do some triceps. I'll do some light deadlifts. But I don't do anything like too crazy. I just do it to maintain.
Right. That's I don't know if you call this ego or not, but back when I was in college, so 18, 19, I was lifting weights every day. Personal records. I was keeping track of all that stuff. But I would, not train or not weight lift for, a couple years for whatever reason. And then I get back into it and I want to go back to, lifting the heavy weights and everything like that. And my body's like, no, you can't do that. So I need to.
I hear you. I do the same thing. I played football growing up. I played football from a young kid. So one of my favorite things was to do was bench. And I still love to bench. I know a lot of grapplers are against benching. At my age, you know why you need to know how to bench? Because you're on your back a lot and you're in side mount. And if you want to create that frame, you got to push people away. So I've never got where people said, you got to work on your back a lot. I'm on my back. I'm working people. So I'm always framing or pushing people away. Okay. If you can bench, it's your frame right there.
Yeah, I never thought about it like that. It's true.
So I never got why people are like, man, you got benching does nothing for you. I'm like, bullshit. I'm 173 pounds. I roll guys with like 200 plus.
Right.
I'm always do. I can't scramble. I push people away to create the distance before I scramble. So I need that strength, that just to create that strength.
It's I feel like arm strength in general. It's like for me, I noticed holding on to a choke. The Kimura grips, and you start feeling like that burn. You don't feel it as fast because like I said, if I'm working out on arms for a few months or whatever, you just feel that strength. It's almost not like a superpower, but you just feel like you have an advantage. It's like, I can hold this longer. I'm not even my biceps aren't even burning yet. It just feels better just like I said, I just have to stop being lazy.
Now I know there's a lot of guys that don't lift at all. And if you roll with them, you would think they were powerlifters. but again, it comes down to genetics. My body, for me to do jiu-jitsu, I also have to lift weights to keep if I want to roll every day, I got to lift too. Or I'm gonna get hurt. I'm gonna get hurt. It's just how it is. I'm gonna get hurt.
Because if you were to stop lifting, you can.
I don't have the genetic code of someone that can do that. My body's not.
It's not genetically like the person that you just mentioned. The person you feel like they've been rolling.
My body's built to. I don't know. I'm built to play checkers. I was built to play checkers. I'm 5 foot. I'm built to play checkers, and I don't know.
And after lifting,
I don't know. That's about it.
How tall are you? You say you 173-ish?
I'm 173 pounds. I'm 5'7".
5'7". Okay.
I hover between 168, 173. I do like a 5 pound up and down.
Okay.
On there, so.
That's cool. So, I think I asked all the questions that I really wanted to get kind of deep into.
I enjoyed this. Let's do it again.
Fun. So I appreciate your time. Hopefully, my subscribers find this interesting. I know I did. And do you want to just say the name of your Twitter, Instagram, and I think you have a YouTube channel, but you're not really on there too often, right?
Almost everything I do is on Facebook. Everything you see on Instagram is just because it's shared from Facebook to Instagram. I should pay more attention to Instagram because I'm starting to build a little following there. I should pay more attention.
Yeah, 20 something thousand followers or something.
I should pay more attention, but everything I do is because I feel like on Facebook I can interact more with people and the messaging And Instagram is still, I'm an old man. I'm not good with this technology. Instagram is still a little foreign to me.
We had a couple of issues just getting
I'll
on.
get into it. I'll step my game up. No excuse. I'll step my game up on Instagram.
So again, just you are Mr. Jiu-Jitsu page on Instagram, and
or you can find me on Mr. Jiu-Jitsu on Facebook, or my regular name, Michael Mijas. You can people follow me on my regular name too. So wherever you're at, it's cool. Sure. And I tell people, send me a message if there's something you don't like. I said, I respond to all messages.
Okay.
I respond to all messages. Yeah. If you're trying to troll me in my regular comments, I'm not even paying attention.
Yeah, I'm not paying attention to those.
You're just talking to the wall. So.
Cool. Again, I appreciate your time, and thank you. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Thank you, brother.